Nothing feels better than winning when people are patiently waiting to see you fail. Dan, you've lost 1 million followers in the last 12 months, seen your stock price plummet so low you had to take it off the stock exchange, and now spend the
God
rest of your
damn.
time
Damn, that I ain't gonna lie, that sounded like a shot. He shot it. Oh my god, why he coming for him like that? God
copying
damn.
Andrew Tate
Yeah, we're gonna start a website called Sigma Society.
while rambling about politics on Twitter. This is basically the definition of failure, and here's exactly how it happened. Dan Bilzerian took his company Ignite public at a price of $2.50 per share back in January 2019, a time at which his career was going perfectly. His Instagram was gaining 400,000 followers
it
per
was.
month, he was living in a $65 million mansion, and most importantly, everybody believed that his lifestyle was real. That would be until July 2020, 18 months after Ignite started, when Dan fired Ignite's vice president, who then sued Dan Bilzerian for unfair dismissal, in the process completely exposing his phony business model. For starters, the lawsuit explained that Dan Bilzerian hadn't actually paid $65 million for his mansion, but the property was rather rented for $2.4 million per year. On top of this, it was shown that Bilzerian paid for the travel expenses of the rotating cast of models that permanently accompany Bilzerian wherever he goes.
The company also paid $26,000. Yeah, with that one, I understand that. I ain't gonna lie, that's $26,000 was a very good use of money at that time because his career was going crazy at that point in time. His 2019, he couldn't. Well, I wasn't gonna say he couldn't do no wrong, but his career was definitely going crazy.
Despite Dan consistently stating that the girls were there voluntarily.
Do you pay these girls to come?
No.
No.
That's, okay, so
That's the big misconception,
yeah, I'm
right?
addressing that on my app.
However, the craziest part of the lawsuit outlined Dan's strange expenses, including $75,000 on a paintball field, $40,000 on a rock climbing wall, $60,000 on a Star Wars gun set, $31,000 on pool renovations, $50,000 on a bed frame, $15,000 on a ping pong table, and $88,000 on a vault, just to name.
Why is you spending so much money on this, on a paintball field, on rock climbing, on a stuff? I'm sorry, but you got that type of money to spend on this? Is what? On paintball? I'm sorry, but you don't need that much money to paintball, bro. I'm sorry. Ain't no way.
Name a few. It was also stated that some business expenses charged to Ignite were for household items, groceries, and luxury yacht rentals, with a different former employee stating Ignite pays for everything. Models, events, yachts. Dan would just have it wrapped with the Ignite logo, and all of a sudden it was an Ignite expense, and he would send them the bill. Pools, trampolines, the employee added. His personal events that had nothing to do with the business. Dan responded by stating, "Some journalist said Ignite was funding my life. Bitch, I've been going hard for 10 years and been famous for going hard for 7. I started Ignite 2 years ago, raised around 100 mil, and I own the majority of the company, suck my dick." Although his arrogant response failed to dismiss anything, especially the company's atrocious financial reports.
Oh,
Dan
I
had spent a
remember that.
total of $69 million during Ignite's first year in business, which was offset by only $9.7 million in sales. Given
They got. How did y'all pay for this? Oh, no mind. They used the actual money that he said they funded or something like that. 100 million. He
the
used that
previously
money.
mentioned lawsuit explained how terribly this money was spent, Ignite's stock price plummeted by almost 90%, from $2.50 to a low of 28 cents in October 2020.
Sound about right.
As the media began to report on Dan's losses, he'd respond by stating Uber is worth $80 billion. It has never had a profitable month since it started, and it lost over $5 billion in one quarter last year. However, Ignite's financial losses weren't even the worst part.
Hell. I was skipping.
Ignite only had an
Okay.
audience because of Dan's extravagant life, which as a result of
might
the
have been me.
lawsuit had been
Might be me. Hold on. It might be me. Might be
His
me.
lifestyle was once mysterious and intriguing, but it lost its edge as soon as people realized it was just another business. On top of this, the whole mega rich guy on Instagram shtick was cool in 2014, but by 2020 everybody knew it was complete baloney, which began to reflect in Dan's Instagram statistics. In May 2020, Dan almost completely stopped posting to Instagram, and by the end of the year
Oh. I was about to say, bro, Instagram wasn't pushing mine at all. I'm gonna say, damn, that's wild. But I ain't gonna lie, 29,000 folks. Well, I
begun
wish
to
I
lose
had
followers. In the
29,000
meantime, the
followers to
media
lose.
speculated that he'd soon file for bankruptcy, to which Dan clapped back by tweeting a skeleton with the caption, "Or the dumbass journalist patiently waiting for Ignite to go bankrupt." Dan was right, Ignite wasn't filing for bankruptcy, but that didn't mean that things were going well. After losing 69 million in 2019, Ignite lost a further 19.7 million in 2020, during which the media
Where does this money come from? Even a trust fund, baby. No, I know he a trust fund, baby, but he only had like 50 million. Didn't it? If he been blew past this to even help this type of spending, like what?
released another strange detail. Dan Bilzerian's dad was supposedly running Ignite from behind the scenes.
Oh.
Now, this was a problem for one main reason. Paul Bilzerian was a convicted felon who was legally prohibited from participating in publicly traded companies. He'd spent a year in jail for fraud in the 90s, leading Dan to pretend that they weren't that close.
I talk to him probably 4 or 5 times a year.
However, according to one article, Paul Bilzerian has taken a less shadowy role within the company, sending thousands of
But my question is, why would you make it public, a publicly traded company, if you can't control? I mean, you can't really be known for being behind it. Just keep it private. Why would you go public? Is it probably more money? More than likely, it's probably more money enough, but still.
emails
That don't
between
seem
himself
make
and other
sense
top
to me.
executives at Ignite. This was only speculation at the time, but if Paul was in fact running the company, he was starting to do something right. Despite losing 19.7 million in 2020, Ignite actually recorded a profit in their final quarter, leading Dan to tweet, "Ignite announces a profitable fourth quarter." I guess the press and the dumb YouTubers were wrong, shocking, the reason for which being explained in a Forbes article. For one, Ignite cut costs, slashing a promotional budget by nearly 75%. Pandemics meant fewer parties, and for Ignite that meant a chance at profit. As economic conditions improved in early 2000,
So basically, it cut out Dan Bilzerian parties and they made money. Literally, so he cut out all his parties and they made money. So he the reason that they couldn't make money. Horrible, horrible business, man.
2021, the price of Dan's
Horrible
stock began
business,
to
man.
recover rapidly, quadrupling from 28 cents per share in October 2020 to $1.13 only 1 year later. In the process, Ignite increased its revenue from 16.9 million in 2020 to 78.8 million in 2021, at which point Dan made the claim that he wanted to sell the company.
$2 billion would be nice, because then I get over $1 billion.
However, the chance of achieving this kind of money began to look unlikely, as the value of Dan's company began to fall off a cliff. The recovery made by Dan in 2021 was completely reversed throughout 2022, owed in part to one particular incident. The SEC is suing Ignite Brands Ltd for failing to produce documents as it attempts to pursue an accounting fraud investigation.
Damn. Bruh, I don't want, oh my. Just fuck up the whole company. Fuck
According
it.
to the SEC
You got the money,
case,
fuck it.
SEC staff have uncovered information indicating that respondents may have filed public financial statements that include false or misleading representations regarding revenues earned and recognized in the company's fiscal year ending December 1st, 2020. On top of potentially falsifying their revenue, the suit also revealed that Ignite was under criminal investigation for something unrelated. As a result, the stock was headed toward a new record low.
Damn.
However, Dan was able to fix this problem by removing Ignite from the stock exchange altogether. He provided no explanation for the company's removal. However, just 2 months later,
Bruh, it shouldn't have been publicly traded from the jump. I'm gonna be real. Like that's so stupid. It shouldn't have been publicly traded at all. in my
media
opinion.
publication MJ Biz Daily somehow managed to interview Dan Bilzerian's dad, who said he is now serving as an unpaid advisor to his son's company.
I'm saying, just you shouldn't have made it public. Let your daddy run it, because obviously he know what he's doing. And just chill. Just be the face of it, and your daddy behind you. Like, what's so hard about that?
and was speaking on behalf of Ignite because Dan was unavailable to comment. He'd state there is no reason to have a public company unless you intend to raise capital from public markets, before going on to state though Ignite was publicly traded, about 90% of the company shares are owned by Dan and friends. Dan likely thought that as a public figure he should have a public company, although this structure provided no real benefit and instead delivered unwanted attention from governing bodies and the media.
That's what I'm saying. It made no sense.
Despite this, it was reported in March 2023 that Dan was still refusing to cooperate with governing bodies, and while Ignite's privatization means its income is no longer public, it doesn't really seem as though business has improved. Dan recently bragged on Ignite's Instagram by stating, "Best-selling vapes in South America," although the very top comment was, "Bro, I love you, but I never seen anyone smoking that." Ignite's Twitter page gets about 30 likes per post. The company's official TikTok page has under 4,000 followers, while Dan Bilzerian's personal social media isn't looking so healthy.
Where I see 32.8 million. Where is it not looking healthy?
Either. His main Instagram page is losing 100,000 followers per month, owed in part to his complete inactivity, only uploading every once in a blue moon. When he does post, all of the most popular comments state, "So sad you have to pay for having ladies around you, haha, lol, such a sad life, and I don't know why I still follow this dude." In January 2021, Bilzerian was asked, "Dan, why are you barely active over Instagram recently?" To which he'd respond with, "Cause I just finished the 25th edit of my book. It's finally done." Yet Dan failed to return to Instagram after the book's release. However, only a couple of months ago on the Skinny Confidential podcast, Dan gave an updated explanation for why he'd quit everything.
I just don't care. Like, I feel like social media is like a video game I beat like 8 years ago, and I'm like, everybody's playing the same game. I'm like tired of playing it. Like, I look at social media like a cancer. Like, to me, I think it's the worst thing to be happening to.
Why he got a mullet? That's a mullet, right? Why he got a mullet? Since when he had a mullet? Is he trying to bring a mullet back? You look like you too old to have a mullet. I'm just saying, he look a little too old to have a mullet.
Society. So I just just cringe to perpetuate that problem.
Dan seems quite resentful over his social media career and is perhaps sick of being hated. However, I can't imagine his next venture will make that any better. After seemingly spending a bit too much time with Andrew Tate, Dan Bilzerian is working on his own alpha male course and website called Sigma Society.
The thing I'm working on right now is a site where it's basically gonna like teach guys kind of like
Sigma?
What's that? Yeah.
Sigma?
Yeah.
It ain't gonna do too good, my boy. It's not. Let's be real. It's over. You done missed the wave. It's over. It's over. The wave over. You done missed the wave. He gonna try to join in after the wave done crashed down and everything. He ain't riding it up. He just want to get it while it's crashing down, which makes no sense.
Yeah, it's
Come
gonna
on,
like
man.
teach guys how to be guys. You know, I feel like this generation
missed your
kind of like
time.
lost that.
And while
You
such a
missed your
venture
time.
would surely find an audience, it feels like a last-ditch unoriginal money grab, which is almost always a sign of having nothing left to offer.